Hey everyone, how's it going? That's right, I am back from my Sword Treasure Cup. I only went to one, but I had a lot of fun, and probably tell by the video, we got second place with Yamato, which was really cool. So I wanted to go over the deck profile. I have some footage from some of the matches, but shout out to my locals, my store that I go to. It was really cool to see everybody. I haven't been able to play in person for a while, so it was really nice and really cool to do well in a format that I haven't played like any in person for at all. But yes, let's go over everything that probably people want to see, right? We have green, yellow Yamato. We have our matches. We went against green Zoro, and then yellow Captain Kidd, and then Roger, followed by Emu. So the only match I lost was the last against Emu. Very hard deck to beat, especially one that you don't have a lot of practice against. So definitely some mistakes to learn from for that. But honestly, it's just a really hard deck. So the fact that we were 3-0 at that point, I'm happy with anyway, you know. So before we get into it too much, make sure to leave a like, subscribe. And if you like the playmat we're using, you can check out Nen Garden. They're running a Black Friday sale with up to 30% off. And you can use my code StrawHatPecan for 10% off for the week. And also, shout out to Dueling Guard for sending me out this deck box that I used. You can also check out their sales, and I have a link in the description to save some money from them as well. But shout out to them for sending me a pretty dope deck box, honestly. Let's get into it. Green, yellow, Yamato. One of my favorite leaders, right? So what do you win? The winner is like a Sabo. I think it's the new secret rare. The top 4 get this Tashigi, and then also this Gold Dawn, which I also got from placing in regional recently with Yamato as well. If you want to see my recap video on that, I got 67th out of like 500 people at a regional with Yamato. And then we just got some Treasure Cup like event pack promos. We got an additional couple for placing. Just my Dawn, you know, not all gold Dawn, but got one. Going over the deck profile first before we get into the matches, so you know like the list and some thoughts for the choices that I made. We got 4 of the Searcher Yamato. Is just really good. It searches for any land of Wano, which is a majority of the deck, costs 2 or higher, and with Dawn ×2 becomes a 5k swing on your turn, gets plus 3k power for Dawn ×2 on your turn, right? So can swing 5k. Very, very needed early. We need to apply pressure in a lot of matches. So being able to search and then also apply pressure, super good. I cut Onami for some other tech choices for this meta, and we'll see if it pays off, but running 4 Izo because it's searchable. And honestly, as a 4 of, I feel like it's okay. You know, there's not like some of the things that we put in, I feel like were necessary. So we'll see. You definitely could fit some Onami back in, depending on your list, but I felt fine with the limited amount I did test online with Yamato in set 13, and then the in-person event, obviously, you know, but still could do some more testing. Getting into our 2k counters, I'm running the Otama. Very good 2k counter. Rest yourself to take a top or bottom life to buff a character or leader by 3,000. Triggers the rest of 4 or less out of life, right? Which actually comes into play, right? But very good card. It replaced Toniyasu for me. I know some people might still be running him, but it kind of, unless, well, so there's a lot of 1-cost searchers. It depends on the matchup, but Otama can act as like a pseudo blocker because they want to swing into her so you don't keep buffing your leader. And honestly, we have a lot of heal cards, so I'm not too worried about like taking 1 to 2 life depending on the matchup. But for the most part, I'm just taking 1 life with Otama to get out a swing. Sometimes it is like a lethal option as well when you're going for game and you just want to get guaranteed math. It can help out a lot because you can play out Otama, get the buff, and then use Yamato's leader ability to attach 2 Rested Dawn to one of your characters to essentially have played this out for free, right? Next 2k counter, we got the Kinemon. He's just a really nice free body. He is slash as well, which goes into our next target. He also plays out of life for free if your opponent is at 3 or less life. And I'm running the Mihawk 2k counter that plays if you have 2 or less characters He plays out a 4 or less slash type attribute character rested. So Kinemon is an option for that. Is like probably the worst option for it, honestly, because he's a 2k counter and only a 5k stat line, so very easy to get rid of. Speaking of Mihawk, getting into some of our 4-cost bodies, we've got Kikunojo, 4/6 on KO. If your opponent has 3 or less life, you heal 1. So not great to play off of Mihawk. For the most part, your opponent won't be at 3 or less life, so Kiku is kind of vulnerable in that state, because they can swing into her and then you don't get the heal, which sucks. But 6k stat line is a lot easier to defend depending on it. You just don't really want to play this into Zoro, right? Into Zoro matchup, going first, playing Mihawk into Hawkins is a much better option. The 4/5/1 on KO, trash the top card of your opponent's life is really nice, because if on their 4-down turn they just swing into him and then life, at least they trash the top card of their life, which does help Yamato a lot, because sending a 5-life leader down to 4 is like an even curve of life, because we have double attack, right? Swinging double attack into a 4-life leader is a lot more lethal than a 5-life leader. So if they're going to trash their top life to get rid of this body, which a lot of people should, I argue that, losing 1 life compared to all the counter you're going to lose with me swinging at you for 5 turns with this guy is going to just work out better math wise. But putting him down to 4 life can be very good. Running 2 Ashura Doji, if your opponent has 3 or more life, you can KO a base cost 5 or less character. This has very limited use case in Emu. They have to have a very slow start for you to get any value off of this, but still plays a ton of value into pretty much any other deck in the meta, right? Like Ace plays a lot of 5 or less. Zoro plays a lot of 5 or less. Roger as well, So still, I like the card. I know some people hate it, but like you just got to see the value in it. I don't know. It just has so much value, especially in a meta with a ton of 5-life leaders. I know Ace is 3 life, but he can defend very easily, being a 6k power that can trash anything to go -2. So you can punish them by removing their body that they just played out for only 3 Dawn very easily. And also he does have Slash, so you can play him off of Mihawk. It's like not that great, I think, but that is an option, right? And then getting into our new card of set 13, the Hiyori blocker, running that as 4. It's very good to when you have a lot of bricks in the deck, which we don't have a ton of, but there are definitely a lot of bricks. This blocker can be very good to essentially cycle out your hand to heal a life, right? So you can run less 0-cost events if you're running more things like Hiyori and the Kuma, and you have the time to play them out. So that's why I'm running both of these at 4 of. Also, Kuma is just an insanely good body to have in a lot of matches. He's a 6-cost, 7k, 1k counter that gets +2 cost the turn you play him and heals you, right? And then on KO on your opponent's turn heals you as well. So this is like really good to get out against Emu, because it's very hard for them to remove. They're not going to really play the event too much, because that's like their entire turn that removes a 6 or less, right? And I don't even know if it removes a base cost 6 or less, so you might even be safe on the turn that he's played. But Emu's going to be removing a lot of 5 costs. Jozu can only bounce a 6 cost, not an original 6 or less, right? So he'll at least stick on the board for that turn. And then once they're at 8 Dawn against Ace, they're going to probably want to play the 8 cost event anyway. So he's very hard to get rid of, so he's very good. He becomes a 9k swing once you like use leader ability, right? So if you play on curve for like your 9 Dawn turn, or 8 Dawn turn, even, you can still swing pretty high with this. Gets a lot of cards out of hand. Really good card. Running 2 of the Momo Rush. He's very good, but he's searchable, and honestly, I feel like it's been fine at 2 copies for me for a while. He's very good aggression, but he's only 7k power, which is kind of easy to swing into or remove for a lot of top tier decks in it, right? Like Zoro can just stack a lot of Dawn and swing here and then your life. Emu can play out the rush that minuses 2k when attacking, because of course they need an answer to everything for that deck. But yeah, he can get removed. But if you need an extra rush swing, he's very good. Speaking of rush, we got 4 Hody, right? Honestly, I hate to say it, but like Hody feels, he's very good. He's still very good, but like he's essentially useless against Emu. I feel like, I don't know, not useless entirely, but like I can never, any Emu player that like is properly accounting for a lethal turn from your opponent, right, is going to leave up like 3 Dawn and their 2 blockers. So even if you rest the 2 blockers, you're dealing with like 3 counter events from an Emu player, and they're probably going to be around 2 life. So it's going to be pretty hard to win solely off of Hody, right? Like in that matchup, he's still good in a lot of matchups, right? But that's why I have him with 4. But like, it's just, it's very hard to win against Emu relying on Hody because it takes up so much of your Dawn, and they like, you have to choose whether to rest their counter events or their blockers, and you kind of want to rest the blockers, or at least the 4 cost that draws a card, because you don't want them to get more in their hand size, right? More of our big bodies, we're running 3 of the Zoro secret rare. I think this is a good card in a lot of matches. Personally, there's not a lot of removal for it right now, and with the fact that we have Hiyori and Kuma, you can kind of live until you can play this card pretty successfully. He works really well into Yamato as well, because his activate main for 2 Dawn to restand himself, you can just use that first and then use your lead ability to attach those 2 Dawn to him to like swing very high. You can technically get out, you know, the traditional Zoro swing math is like 16k 3 times, because you attach 7 here and then the 3 to restand them 3 times, but you can go a little higher by attaching those 2 rested. So you can go, what is it, 18 then? Yeah. So you can go 16 and then 18 twice, which is very good. It's a little overkill, but it can help, right? The problem is, like, this can be a win condition against Emu, just having 3 swings off of 1 body, because Emu, in my mind, is like an L, in the way that you need a certain amount of swings to actually have anything happen game state wise, because if you just swing twice after a Emu player's at 10 Dawn, they're just going to block out twice and draw a card off of it. So it's like you're helping them. So you need a lot of swings on the board to actually pressure an Emu player late game, right? So that's why I like things like the Hawkins, that's a little bit harder to remove, like the Kuma, that's a little bit harder to remove. They don't really care. They're going to let you heal, though. Trashing the life is a different story, so finding Hawkins against Emu is pretty good, in my opinion. But the tricky part with Zoro against Emu is that their board becomes all 7k stat line base. So they just swing the rush guy into him to make him 7k if you leave him rested. So you'll have to defend an entire board of swings, right, multiple times. So it can be pretty annoying. So if I'm going to swing 3 times with Zoro, I'd like to have like some blockers on the board, or just know that I have enough counter to defend it, which can be a little tricky, right? But that is a good card in my opinion. That's why I'm running it at 3 copies. We just also want to pressure Emu a lot early, which is when they're at their weakest, which isn't even that weak. But that's why I like hitting they're going to try to take second from you anyway, but hitting a good curve of like Mihawk into Hawkins would be very nice. 5 Dawn, establishing another body. But more tech options. My last 3 cards are 1-ofs. I'm running 1 Blaze Slice, which main encounter gives a character or leader plus 1k for the turn. And then if your opponent is like 2 or less, it rests a 4 or less. This is to rest the 4-cost blocker from Emu that on KO draws them a card. It's very important to not let them draw that card late game, especially if you're going for game, because a very good Emu player will know by the end of the game, like kind of what their deck is stacked like, right? Because they'll cycle through like 30 cards, so they'll know what those last 10 are, and they're going to be like 2k counters or something for the most part. So preventing them from drawing that card, very nice for just 1 Dawn, right? Running 1 Dead Man's Game. I probably should be running 2 because it's pretty good for Emu to rest their 2 blockers for only 4 Dawn, as opposed to 7 with Hody. Allows you to just swing a lot higher to kind of get over those counter events. But again, you have to apply pressure early. And then we're just running 1 0-cost event. Again, I could probably cut this for another Dead Man's game because we have stuff to cycle out our hand to get defense value of like healing, right? So, but since I added up to like 3 Zoro, I felt like maybe keep 1 in. But yeah, that's the deck profile. I'll go over some of the games now, but I just wanted to like talk about all my choices and everything for stuff, so you know like my game plan strategy for some of the matches, right? And always, as always, be courteous and kind to my opponents. I know it's a treasure cup, so it's like a little bit more than just like a locals, but still be nice and kind. This is my like, I've known a lot of these people for a while, and they're all very nice people. So everyone's doing me a favor by allowing me to record these matches anyway for your like viewing purposes, right? So keep that in mind. But shout out to round 1 against Green Zoro. We won dice roll and are going first. And also I forgot to hit record for like the first like few bit, but not really too much happened. This is like on our turn 3. So 3 Dawn. So all I did was search. I think I picked up the Hiyori blocker off my Yamato search. He used his Hiyori to search on 2 Dawn. And yeah, as you can see, we have the Mihawk into Hawkins combo, or maybe I picked up the Rush. It's either one or the other, right? But we're going to 3 Dawn, and he picks up the 2K Zoro that if it's to be rested, you can rest one of your other characters. So we go 5 at life. He gives us some counter. We go 0 at 0, and it lets it go. I should have gone 0-0 first, right? So it kind of guarantees that he lets the Searcher go. But we Hawkins, we get the Hawkins out with the Mihawk, which is very nice, right? Our board is pretty scary because we don't have any banish to punish him from, countering out, or it was only a 1K, but he plays the Zoro that restands like 2 Dawn on play, and then like restands himself every turn, and then he swings into the Hawkins, which yes, very much so the right thing to do. But we trash his top life, putting him down to 4. So we can't use leader ability just yet. And we're at, I'm just going to poke a 5 here. He takes, so down to 3. I could play out the Hiyori. However, feeling that he took the 5, I go 5 by just attaching 2 active Dawn to Yamato, leaving me 2 Dawn to go 7K with lead. And he takes the 5 again. So I don't think he has a lot of counter past the Zoro that he picked up. And then he goes 2-1 here to get out of the leader swing. So that is, a lot of people are afraid of the double attack. So that's why some of the 5K regular attacks, you can really utilize them. So that's what I did this turn, just poking 5s. And also giving him 2 targets to swing into meant that he couldn't just punish my life. Like, I'm staying pretty healthy here, right? He goes 5 at the Mihawk, and we counter out because he has 6 Dawn. So I was, kind of predicting the Law. He goes into the Cavendish and just restands 2. The Law becomes a blocker at 1 or less life, and then he uses those 2 Dawn to play out the Hiyori, and he picks up the Tashigi off of that. So I know, okay, you countered out last turn with 2-1. You picked up a brick. So we go 4 at Hiyori, and that's why I'm glad that I saved him. Here we're at 7 Dawn. So I think I'm going to go... I think I'm going to go for the Cavendish, right? To kind of punish... I could go for just lethal, right? But we go 6 at Cavendish because I'm expecting to get like some counter out of his hand, so I can kind of like set up lethal more guaranteed the following turn, because I'm feeling very, we're still very healthy, right? We go 6 for Momo. We have to use our leader ability to attach 2 Dawn to Momo, then use Momo's ability to detach those 2 Dawn, so we can go 8 at the Cavendish, and we get the Cavendish. So feeling very good. I've got some counter. I've got the 0 cost in hand, which kind of makes me feel like it was right to keep the 0 cost in here. And apologies about the shuffling. I don't typically shuffle around my hand too much to try to make it very like clear for you guys to see what's in my hand. But, I haven't played in person in like a month, and you know, it was like a treasure cup. So you know, even though it was just a store one, I'm still trying to do my best here, right? So please forgive me for that. I don't typically shuffle my hand around a lot to you know, make it harder for you guys to see what's going on. We'll see. He goes 6 at Mihawk, and then plays the Law to bounce back the Law to play out the Tashigi, to attach 3 to Zoro for 8, and then puts 1 on to go 9 at 7. So I think we 0 cost here to go to 10. We go 0 cost, yep, with the Hiyori, because I do have plans for both of my cards, right? Here he's very low in hand size, I believe. I could pressure a lot, but we'll see what I do. I think I could honestly just go for game, but he has a Dawn open, so low key, do I just go for game? I think I might. I think I might here. I think I might. Because we have the Hody. I'm debating. We can go Kuma, go another turn, but we just go for it. Because I'm thinking we're at 2 life. He has very low hand size. If he has the if he counters out of my double attack here, essentially, I guarantee just clear his board. And then we're at 2 life, so I'm kind of safe from a 0 cost. Or not a 0 cost, a 3 cost event, right? But we go 8 after we detached the 2 from leader with Momo. And then we have a 10 at life after that. So we end up winning round 1, which is really cool. Shout out to my opponent. Also, I apologize that the camera's so zoomed in, but I try to keep everyone's privacy in mind when I'm recording it local, so everything's just on the match and such. But, you know, we are going first against Kid. We lost dice roll, but he just wanted to go second, right? Which makes sense for his deck. He has a lot of 4 cost, 6 cost, 8 cost, right? So, again, shout out to Dueling Guard for sending me out the deck boxes, and Nen Garden for the dope play mat. You can check them out in the description. I've also got a TCG player affiliate link if you're going to be buying any cards, and that's the end of me plugging stuff. But, you know, I got a wedding coming up, so I guess I got to do the YouTuber stuff sometimes. He searches for a Hawkins off of his Luffy. Low-key, I kind of like the Supernova package for Yamato's too sometimes when you're playing like the 8-drop Kid. It's kind of fun, right? Like, but yeah, we've been mulliganing for it, and it keeps happening. We got the Mihawk into Hawkins combo, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good, let me tell you. Getting 3 swings out early. He goes 5 at our life, and we counter out because I know he's got a lot of shenanigans. He's going to trash our life because he's going to play out this Hawkins that he just picked up. We saw him do, and he's going to make it a blocker, right? So here I'm going to swing just like decently high with my leader, so he blocks that out to do the Hawkins effect, right? So we're just going 7. I'm not going to commit everything to it. And we trash our life, which was a Hawkins, which was weird, you know? It's weird that a Hawkins, you know, played out and a Hawkins trashes a Hawkins. We go 6 and 6 to get some counter, and then down to 4 life. So now he has a target to kind of swing at with the Mihawk, right? Again, maybe not for Kid against the Hawkins, because you have so many blockers and ways to trash my life that maybe just going at my life and trying to rush me down before, you know, too much. But for a large majority of times, the Hawkins, getting rid of that, if I get it out on curb on 3 Dawn, can be very good, right? But I know he has like the 8 cost. He plays out the 4 cost event that like looks at top or bottom of you or your opponent's, or no, top of you or your opponent's life, and then puts that at top or bottom, right? And then KOs something, which I guess KOs the Mihawk. So he plays out the Shirahoshi blocker, which is annoying because, you know, so many blockers. But we'll see what we do here. We go 6 at life. And he counts out, and then 5, and he takes. So pretty nice. Got him down to 3 life, and then we go Kuma to pitch the Hawkins, right, to go up. We've got the Zoro in hand. and go 5 at our life, but I know he's gonna trash on my life, so I don't want to go down to 1 here. Lose out on a 2k counter that would have played out for free, which kind of really sucks. It's always like the card that you defend, right? Like, but again, I'd rather lose on that. And then oh, he has the Nico Robin in life that plays out a 3 or less yellow character for the trigger. We go 5 at life. He has that blocker kid. We go 7, and he takes and plays out a Searcher Luffy out of his hand from the Robin's trigger effect. So he still has a 9k power blocker. So I'm planning to play out the 9 cost Zoro because I'm feeling very healthy, and I have ways to rest a blocker next turn. So I just left all of my Don and poked 5 to kind of bait him to giving me some counter, anticipating maybe like I do a rush swing into the kid, so maybe he doesn't want to rest it to block, but he just blocks for free, and we play out the Zoro, which is, you know, still with he'll have 2 blockers and 2 life at the very least. He goes 9 at life, and we take. A little worried if he just tries to like rush us down. Who knows? But he goes 7 for the law to heal up a law to life. So I know at least 1 card in his hand will be a brick once he takes that life. But now that he's up to 3, I can't use Blaze Slice to rest that Shirahoshi yet. So I need him to take 1 life before I do anything. And then he goes 5 at my life, which is the one that he put to the bottom out of all of it. But, you know, then he goes 6 and we counter out. I probably should have defended if I could have to, like, just in case I got like the Otama, which we do, right? Because the Otama is very nice for going for lethal, like I said, but now we don't have any life, so we wouldn't be able to get the buff. So that is like the only the downside to Otama. We go 9 with the Zoro, rest the Don to restand himself, and he takes, which is perfect for us because now we Blaze Slice and we buff the Zoro to 10k for the turn and rest the Shirahoshi. So worked out perfectly that, you know, we swung high first to just, he only had like 2 in hand, so I'm like, you have to probably take this, right? Or just block out. But if he blocks out with the Shirahoshi, you know, I don't know. We go 7 at life. I'm hoping that he blocks with the kid because I've got the Izo, and with 2 in life, I just have to commit 4 Don to leader, so that's 6, leaving us 3 more Don for the turn. And this is perfect math to get rid of his last 2 life. So kind of just worked out perfectly for our lethal math, right? We just had to hope that he took the 1 hit to go down to 2 to get rid of the Shirahoshi. But yeah, love Blaze Slice. Very good card. I know a lot of yellow decks are running it in set 13 for Emu, and there's just so many blockers, right? There's so many blockers in this meta, but end up getting it. So we're 2-0 at this point. But shout out to round 3 against Roger. We won dice roll and went first this time. So we start out just by... we had nothing on 1 or 2 Don, so that's why I skipped ahead. But 3 Don, we search and pick up a Kikanojo and go 7, and he counters out. He plays this to ramp and then KOs a 1 cost. And then he goes 6, and I take and I draw 2 trash 1. Trashing maybe the Blaze Slice, because I don't think he runs any 4-cost blockers in this deck at all. I think the only blocker that they run is sometimes the 8-cost Kid, which is famously not a 4-cost, and or the 5-cost Odin, which wouldn't matter for Blaze Slice either. But it's a nice counter event, I guess. It's 1k for the turn. But we go 7 at him just to guarantee that he takes, so I can Mihawk into Kikanojo and get some nice bodies on the board while he's still a 5k leader, right? We can pressure him a lot. He goes 6 at life, and we take. I could have rested it, but we're just gonna I didn't rest the Bon Clay because I'm just gonna use Ashura Doji to get rid of it, right? So I don't need to waste the 2k counter. We go Ashura Doji, KO the Bon Clay because he's at 3 life, right? So See, what I don't know, like, I don't know what to tell you guys. You know, I see some people just don't like the Ashura Doji, but it's so much value. It's so much value. It's so good into so many matches. I know Emu doesn't get you a ton of value, but like it's super, super good. I don't know if I should have wasted the old swing of Mihawk into the 3K body. Who really cares too much? But because he plays out the Rayleigh to rest the blocker anyway, and I could have swung 6 out of his life. But he swings 7 at the blocker, so I'm kind of happy about that. And then he swings at the Kikinojo, so I know he doesn't have a lot of counter. He wants to clear my board, right? So he's 7K leader now. I could just swing really high and get him to 0 life, but again, I'm just going to set myself up for perfect lethal, essentially. He has 5 in hand, so I'm looking for a banish first here, but we don't find it, so that's what kind of pivots my game plan. But we pick up a 2K counter, which is very good too, as you'll see, right? So now we've still got options, right? I can also make with just 1 Dawn. If I play something else out, I just need 1 Dawn on Mihawk to form a 7K stat line, right? So I can poke him, but we just go 9 of life. He goes 2 and 1, down to 3. We play out our Hiyori blocker, and I think I leave 1 Dawn open, which I don't know. I probably should have swung with the Mihawk. And we heal by blocking, and we draw 2 trash 1. I think I trashed the Momo. Yeah, I trashed the Momo rush. And he swings, we get a Hody. But here, he has, what, 3 or 4 in hand, 2 life. So we're going to just swing pretty high with the banish to get rid of those last 2 and play out a blocker. And I think I did the math that if he plays out Rush Roger, I can probably still live, I think. Doing the math, I can get out of the 7 and the 9K, I believe. But we go 12 of life banish. But actually, I don't think so. I don't know. We formed the blocker here. Or maybe this was the turn I could have swung 7 with Mihawk, but I formed the blocker instead. I don't know. But here, because he just doesn't play out the Goldie Roger, that I kind of know that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm pretty safe. I'm pretty safe. If he plays out a Roger, a Rayleigh to rest the blocker again, then I'd be in trouble, but still I might be able to get out of 2 swings. I have a lot of 2Ks. He goes 12 first, and we block. See, does he have another rush option? He goes 9, and we go 2-2-1. See, I don't think I would have won if he had the Roger, actually, depending on my life. So that was like a risky play, I guess I did. But takes it. We got a Kikinojo, but I'm like, this doesn't really matter at all. The Kikinojo is a 5K, which is what we're saying. So it's like, it's kind of the same as leader. However, with the Otama, if we play out the Otama, technically Kikinojo becomes a 7K with leader ability. So that's like kind of nice. That if he can counter out of the 16K that I'm about to do with leader, I can still swing 7 with Kikinojo. But we end up just swinging 16, and he has like 13K counter, so something like that. So we end up winning. So 3-0 right now, which was pretty cool to see. You know, again, if he just had Goldie Roger, I think he would have won. I think, unless, you know, my last 2 life were Kikinojo, which is like kind of crazy that the one time you don't want to be Kikinojo, it's Kikinojo. That, like, I have the worst luck in person with Kikinojo in my life. I have like the literal worst luck. It's never helped me for the most part in my last like good bit. I don't know. But shout out to round 3. But shout out to our last round against Emu. First Emu we played. He wins dice roll and goes second, which I don't know, could be okay for me. But we search, and you can see we have the Zoro and a Hody already. So I probably should just pick up the 2K counter here, honestly, low key, maybe, or maybe the Hiyori too. But I think what I pick? I picked up the Momo, which I think is a mistake. I think it was a mistake. We have too many bricks in hand. I should have picked up the Hiyori, right? For sure, for sure. I should just like heal an extra time, trashing a brick to kind of guarantee that I can get like a few turns out swinging with the Zoro, the 9 cost. Because a lot of times I'm not actually applying too much pressure because I'm just swinging twice with them and just leader and whatever I have on board. But as you can see, we don't get like a ton of stuff to, this is our first time we don't have the Mihawk into Hawkins play, which really sucks. But we just go 8k at his face, which, I maybe should have done Otama, but because I didn't pick up the Hiyori, like that was my first mistake. But here he plays out this counter event that like lets you take back 3 or less from trash if you have 10 or more. But he didn't read, or I don't know. He like didn't realize he didn't have 10 in trash or something, so he counters out a different way here instead of using the event. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know a lot of the emu cards. Again, I haven't done, like, this is the first time I'm playing OP13 in person, and I haven't done much testing on the sim like at all. So he counters out with 3 cards, which is actually pretty good for us. I want to say, like, getting so much out of his hand early, but like now that was like our only time we can swing at him without a blocker on board, right? Like from here on out, he can definitely play out like the blocker. He swings 5 at us, and I think we counter 1 just to stay healthy, because again, trying to play out the Zoro as my win condition. And then that's the here I'm saying like how much do you have in your trash, because I know they all gain their effects when you have 7 in trash, which now he does. And now I think that's a blocker, so now we get the Mihawk, but we don't have anything to play off of him. We go just 8, and he draws a card, I think, off that blocker. What I should have done instead of going banish is just gone 7 and swung with the not the Otama, the Yamato, right? 100%. That was a mistake too. So that was my 5 Don turn. Felt like a little bit of a waste, which you can't waste any turn early game against Emu. Shout out to the dog walking by. Love the dog. He goes 6 and we counter out. Again, trying to stay healthy so that Zoro just wins it. But like once they hit 10 Don, they're hitting you like 6 times like each turn. It feels for like 7k. So it's like you really only have 2 turns with Zoro. We're not a ramp deck. So he plays the blocker, KO, R's. So if I find like a good target off of the Mihawk, it would have been fine, but we just find more 2Ks. So I play out Hody, try and get him down. We go 5 of life. I know he's going to count out of that. He uses an event to take back something now because he has 10 in trash. So he gets out of it and then gets like a 2K back, which that just feels like cheating, you know? It's like, I know it's just the event, but like that just feels rude. We go 8 of life and he takes, and we go lead ability, go 5 of life. But yeah, if I pressured with Yamato and somehow maybe like he was at like 2 life here from like another 6k or 5k with Yamato, because on my 5 Don turn, if I just go 7 at life, I feel like he still blocks out, draws a card, and then I can go 6 with the other 3 Don with Yamato, the searcher. Maybe he takes, right? Because it's not a double attack or banish. But I still guess I got a card out of his hand with the Yamato eventually. It's not like it got KO'd before it swung. So it swung and then he swung into it. So we've got Hody. I'm thinking about just playing out Zoro on curve, but honestly, maybe I should have just Hodied on curve. Who knows? Like, and just gone like 7 and then like 8 and then 10, right? Like, but I don't know. We go Zoro, we go 5, and then he blocks out. So here I feel like okay. We've got a couple of 2Ks to defend our Hody. And I need the Hody. I really feel like I need the Hody, but this is where my first search fails me, right? So he uses the 5 elders. He gets everything out, so he can go rush at the Hody, take him down to 6k, and he's got 7Ks, right? So if I had that 2k from the start of the game instead of the Momonosuke, we would have had Hody safe from this turn. As you can see, he goes 8 at it twice, which I can't defend both, so that was like unfortunate. But if I had the 2k, we would have And then we could have possibly just gone for game following turn with like Hody, 3 swings from Zoro, 2 second Hody and leader ability, right? Or probably not. I don't know. I probably would have died. Or if I played out Hiyori, I would have been like higher life, so I could have Hodied again, maybe. I don't know. It's just unfortunate, right? We just don't have the counter. And then we pick up a Kuma. And here I'm going to play out the Kuma. So I go 6 at life. It gives me a 2K. We go Kuma, pitch, go there. So we get rid of his blockers, but he draws a card, which just feels like we just don't progress the game state at all, which sucks. And that's why I feel like this deck is like an L in that situation, right? If you don't have enough swings on the board, not progressing the game state at all, and it's actually beneficial. But I don't know, like, I feel like I shouldn't just let those blockers sit on the board, because then he just hits my face like 6 times and maybe I die. Who knows? Like, because they're all like 7K stat lines too. But he goes Searcher first. But that's why I don't leave the Zoro rested, which also feels bad because I don't get 3 swings out of him because I don't have that much counter. So maybe if I just didn't counter out for the Hody at all, we could have swung 3 times with the Zoro and just left him rested. But we pick up Dead Man's Game, which is a very nice card in this matchup, because with Zoro, you can just swing very high with him. However, he's at 3 life, so Zoro doesn't win me the game. I need 1 more swing to go through. And he's got like 4 Dawn up, 3 Dawn up, right? And he's going to have all of his 5 Elders out. He's going to have 3 Dawn and 2 blockers. So Dead Man's Game just gets rid of the blockers, not the Dawn. So I would need 1 swing from Kuma or leader to go through. And with 3 Dawn up, he can get out of like a 7 or a 9K so easily, right? You can just get out of it so easily. What I should do, I think, because I'll start talking about the lethal math. I don't know. If I can somehow counter out of this last one, which actually low-key becomes, because this rests a 4 less, right? So I rest his 4-cost blocker. So I think, is that better than... No, I feel like that extra stat I would have gotten from Otama swinging at him would have been better, because I would just Dead Man's Game. Who knows? If he has 3 events, then that's, you know, GG anyway. But if he has 3 events but only 2 Dawn to use after the Dead Man's Game, then maybe it makes sense, because we use Dead Man's Game. We have 6 Dawn left. He has 2 Dawn, no blockers, 3 life. So I'm like, okay, I need 1 of the swings from leader or anything to go through. I know he picked up a 2K and he has a counter event that goes +4. So I'm like, I'm hoping he has like no other counter, so he has to give me that 2K. But he uses the other event. So I'm like, okay, yeah, it's over pretty much at this point. Right? Because like I can swing 9 and then 10 3 times. And that's it. Yeah. So he countered out of the 9. So we have Zoro left, and that was it. I shouldn't have taken the Momo rush. I ended up not even having a chance to play it, which really felt bad. If I didn't take the Momo rush and I'd counter, I could have either saved Hody, which would have been another swing this turn, possibly, or just another swing a turn after. Like having another swing for 1 more turn of Hody might have gotten out the counter out of his hand that I would have needed to win. Because at this point, he had like 2 or 3 in hand, and they just all happen to be counter events and like a 2K counter or something like that. Like, they were just all counter. This deck has all counter. It's all counter. It's all counter events. They get to keep up like 6 Dawn for it. It is so frustrating. You need like at least 3 swings each turn that are like 9K or above to actually make a dent in their hand size once they start using their 5 Elders, right? And yeah, it is just really difficult to beat this deck. It is really difficult. Of course, I made mistakes. That just come from inexperience against playing it, because again, I haven't played much of set 13 at all, and this was my first time playing in person. But my goodness, the fact that we couldn't get him past 3 life, like that hurt, right? Like if we had gotten him down to 2, I would have felt good about just going like rest the blockers, maybe get an Otama to buff Zoro. for the turn. If he was at 2 life, I would have defended my last life harder if I had an Otama in hand to take it to buff Zoro, because it's just so good with Zoro. It's so good. We play out Otama, buff Zoro to 12 for the turn, use leader ability to attach 2 rested to him to make him 14 already before he hasn't swung or attached like any of our active Don, which Otama and Deadman's game is 6 Don, so we can only go set like 1 more Don on him, which isn't like actually like that crazy, but like for using Deadman's game for 4 and still being able to swing like 15 with Zoro 3 times feels pretty good. He would have, I think, still been able to get out of that. Who knows? But yeah, if we were able to get him down to like 2 life, it's a much better spot to go for game with Zoro. But that's just the unfortunateness of not having any pressure early game. Like we didn't get anything to play off of Mihawk, which felt really bad after searching. Still didn't find anything. We just kept getting like Hoodies out of life, which Hoodie doesn't simply just win you games like it used to. You know, that's that's how it goes, right? Because you rest their blockers or their Dom, but you can't rest all of it, right? So I'm putting Noah's Ark in the build. That's what. no, I'm kidding. But shout out to everybody. It was still pretty fun to go 3-1 and get second at the Treasure Cup after not playing in anything and winning myself a Tashigi. That was pretty cool. But yeah, shout out to everybody at the store. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys are having fun at your Treasure Cups. I think there's still some going on. This was the only one that I was in, so I'm glad at least I got a Tashigi, which is pretty cool. I jokingly said that, man, I wish I won just because I don't have any of the Sabo secret rares. So that would have just gone in the deck, you know. But it's still fun. I don't think set 13 is like as like bad as some people are saying. It's definitely like, I don't think I'd play it every week, right? As I haven't, but that's because again, I'm just in a very busy part of my life right now, so I don't have the time to go out and play locals every week, which is unfortunate. But because I love all the guys that go to my locals, like we're all just kind of friends at this point, right? Like, but that's how it goes. So hopefully I'll be able to play a little bit more of locals, like maybe like once or twice before the set ends, because there are some decks that I want to check out, right? There's still a lot of fun things you can do. Set 13 itself is a pretty cool set to collect. I haven't really opened anything too much for it, but still very fun time. That was the Yamato deck. I don't know if I would change like too much about it for like my play style. Maybe like 1 or 2 cards, right? Like I said, maybe the 0 cost event, but it helped us a bit. We ended up even finding our one of Dead's Man game for the matchup that I was kind of hoping to use it for, right? But it just wasn't enough because, you know, when you just go blocker into 2 blockers, 3 Don open, yeah, really can't push through that unless you have like 2 Zoros. That's why you just play out 2 secret rare Zoros. Honestly, yeah, I think that would win you the game. If I had a second Zoro, that might have been my win condition. But you know, it's just how it goes. So yeah, let me know if you guys went to any store Treasure Cups, how you did, if you guys won a Sabo or Tashigi or anything, or you're doing any of the online, like the larger events. Let me know how you guys did. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hope to see you on the next one. Bye bye.